guys, it's your favorite goth church lady out here, gang. So I'm on my way home from running errands. I actually went to the gym today, which is why I have my fancy little get up here. So you know, I talk a lot about community on my page. Like, I feel like I talk about it every other week, and I feel like sometimes I might be repeating myself and stuff. And honestly, the biggest part of it is because this is where I'm at in my journey. At the end of the day, this channel is my experience as a little alternative believer out here, just trying to navigate the world and be a light in the darkness while wearing a lot of black. And so my biggest challenge in my life at the moment is really just shutting up the enemy when it comes to who my friends are and stuff like that. But I also have to come to terms with the fact that I cannot be lazy. Because, for example, because I'm an introvert, I hide behind that name a little bit. I hide behind that part of my identity when it's really just a fragment of my personality. And it's almost a limitation sometimes, because just like being an extrovert can limit you by maybe like you're unable to kind of get deeper with people because you're too social and you're kind of friends with everybody, and so it's hard for you to develop deep personal connections, whereas introverts, they're more about the deep personal connections than they are about like the quantity. So not to say that extroverts don't have deep connections, but I would imagine that might be a limitation for them. And like I'm not claiming to know because I don't. It's my guess. But for us introverts, out here navigating the world and stuff like that, I have to sit back and I just be like, how much effort do I put into something before I know it's a good investment? And that's kind of like the thing that I'm fearing the most. And I have to admit, like, I'm picking up chips now for fear. And so my biggest fear right now is that I think that I'm closer to people than I actually am, and it's all a lie. Do I know that that's a lie? That statement is a lie? Absolutely. I know. But knowledge and belief are two different things, aren't they? And I had to stop for a second and just be like, what is telling me that is actually like hardcore evidence? And that's kind of the biggest thing, is like you kind of, just like with the Bible, it's like you constantly have to go into the Word of God and just be like, okay, that's not backed up by anything, so let's get back here. Okay, so my identity is in Christ, so anything that anybody has to say about me is trash, because it doesn't really matter. Does it still hurt? Yes, but I don't have to buy into that lie. And same thing with my friendships. I don't have to buy into the lie that people don't care about me just because they're not giving me attention. So hear this, because you might need to hear it. Just because somebody doesn't give you the attention that you want, because for me, it's like there's times where I'm super social, and I also have to remember that just because my friend works at home, that doesn't mean she has all the time in the world to text me back. And so I had to sit with myself, and this is hurting me to say out loud. Just because I'm not getting the attention I want from the people that I care about does not mean that they do not care about me. It means that they are busy, because life be lifing out here, and we do not live in this compound of a friendship where we just go next door and we borrow some milk and cookies or whatever, and she has all the time to give me just because I need validation. And I have to really solidify that in my brain, because otherwise I'm buying into a lie that I'm the center of the friendship. Because just like how Jesus demonstrated his whole life, was that it was in service of two things. It was in service of God, and it was of service to other people. And I had to really sit with myself and just be like, ooh, yeah, I have to sit and unpack that a little bit, because I I'm not the center of my friendships. The center of my friendship should be Christ, first and foremost. But it also has to be the friendship itself. My friends should be in the center of my friendship. Outside of Christ, of course. Because if I'm not praying over my friend, if I'm not actively engaging with my friends, how can they expect to have intimacy with me if I'm not giving them intimacy back? If I'm not giving them my time, energy, effort, I cannot expect for them to be there for me at the capacity that I want them to be, because we haven't crossed that threshold. We're not at that level yet. Especially if I keep having shallow conversations and stuff. And my biggest problem that I've really become aware of, especially last night, is that I will ask deep questions for friendships I have not fully developed. And I'm like internally screeching when I became hella aware of it. Because I do love deep conversations and I do love having those deep connections. But I also have to come to terms with the fact that I did not develop those close relationships in order to be asking those type of deep questions and stuff. Do I want to be a helper to people when they're going through things? Absolutely. But that's not just going to happen because I want it to. I have to invest in that. And so it really sucks because there's so many people I want to have a deep connection with. But I don't do anything when I'm at church. Most of the time I'm kind of wandering around. I might be on my phone and stuff. And I became super aware of that. And my husband and I are really like having to come to terms with it because we're used to easy friendships. Plain and simple. We're used to easy friendships. I'm sorry I don't have makeup on. But I gotten so comfortable with friendships that were shallow and not deep. And then us trying to find, believer friends and develop those connections and stuff like that. We gotten so lazy. And then we're wondering why we do not have the, have the deep closeness that we thought was just going to automatically happen because we had a couple dinners. And yeah, it sucks when you become aware of that. And so it's just like, okay, where do I go from here? I have to put in effort. And as an introvert, that is like, because I have to expend social battery. But I know that in order for me to get to a place where I will have those deep connections, I have to put forth that effort. I know I'm kind of like talking in a circle here. So how does that look like? That means I'm the one being like, hey, we should make plans. That scared me. It was a package falling out of the chair. So it's just like my game plan is that I have to be the one to invite people out. I have to be the one to be like, you know what? I want to come see you. When do you have time this week? I want to hang out with you. Let's go to the gym together because I know that you have, weight loss goals or you have fitness goals. Hey, do you want to go run errands with me? I'll pick you up. I'll buy you lunch. I have to be the intentional one. I have to be the one to put in the effort. And when people will respond to that, or sometimes, I have to put my ego aside. Long story short, I have to put my ego aside because that's what was really happening. My car's getting really warm really quick. But yeah, I had to sit in the fact that I gotten lazy and I made it about myself. And in today's society, it's very easy to do that. I remember I used to watch and share and interact with all of these posts that were saying like, well, if you don't put in the effort to come see me or hang out with me, then we're no longer friends. I don't have time for people who don't invest in me. And I'm just like, I am not a business for people to buy stock in. I am a human being. I'm also somebody that craves and desires community and connection. I have to go look for it. I have to forage for it. And it's okay if it doesn't happen right away. It's okay if it's not going to reach the point that I think it's going to right away. It's not about me. It's about those people and how God is going to lead me to the right people, but also lead me to the people I already have in my circle to actually deepen those connections. just like our relationship with God, we have to put in effort. God is not just going to wave his hand and all of a sudden everything's good and Gucci. We have to be intentional. We have to seek out the truth so that way we can dispel the lies. We have to seek out God's heart so that way we can align with his will. We need to seek out God's plan for our lives so that way we're not getting into foolish plans that are going to sabotage us in the end. Because again, it is about two things. It's about God and it's about other people. Because if it wasn't about other people, why would God say, love God with all your heart, mind, soul, heart, soul, mind, with everything? My mouth is getting twisted. And love others as you love yourself. Because God already knows we're vain. God already knows that we're, self-centered. Because that's just an innate part of our sinful nature. But if we actively seek out other people after we seek God, we're going to find the right people. We're also going to find the people that need us. Because God has designed us, had us learn things. The wisdom that I have is useful for teenagers. It's also useful for young adults. It's also useful for women who are currently fighting for their marriage and stuff like that because of the things that I've been through. And the things that I put myself through because I did a lot of that. All of this wisdom is for a purpose. All of the things that you've been through is for a purpose. Put it to use by actively seeking out these relationships. And sometimes the blessing is the friendship for you. I have to find people that can pour into me in ways that I cannot pour into others. And that's okay. I'm not trying to be Superman. I'm not trying to be like, the end all. I'm not King Solomon to be, just here's all this wisdom and, whatever. Even King Solomon made stupid mistakes, and he needed good counsel. Somebody to probably have told him like, hey, maybe you shouldn't have any more wives after like the first one. Maybe you should marry somebody that's in the worshiping the same God as you. Maybe that. No? Okay. But all jokes aside, I have to be more intentional about my friendships because if I want them to thrive, I have to be the one to water them and let God be the sunlight in them. So otherwise, I'm going to fall into the same mess that I continue to fall into. And then wonder why I'm feeling alone all the time, wondering why people are going out to do things together and I'm always left behind. I'm not developing anything, so why would anything grow? I haven't even put seeds in the ground in some places, but I'm expecting it to flourish. And so I really had to sit in myself on that and just be like, I want these deep connections. And there's certain people that I'm just not going to melt with, sure. But I also haven't put in the effort to find out if that's the truth, So I hope that all of this rambling was helpful to you guys. If not, then I hope it was entertaining. I know I kind of talk into circles a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry for not posting last week. I might post another video later on this week to compensate for it because I kind of feel bad about it. But I was house sitting for somebody and I felt kind of weird recording in their house because I did not ask permission. And so I didn't want to be that guy. But I'm back home and I need to take my dog out actually, so I need to go. But I love you guys. And let me know where are you at in your journey, especially with your community. Let me know in the comments. Okay, love you, bye.